Hello and welcome back to vidIQ, where today we are looking at not just your channels, but your videos. We started off this stream actually last week by sharing a form on our community tab. And if you saw it, you had a chance to submit your videos for review / reaction from a panel of folks here at vidIQ, a panel of very familiar faces like Rob.
Hey everybody! Hello Dan, you are looking delectable this fine morning, afternoon,
Such a weird
evening.
thing to say.
What? Looking forward to this, I guess, alternative style of channel auditing / video reactions.
Yes. Also joining us, Travis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How goes it?
Fantastic. Thanks for being here. And finally, John.
Hi.
This is such a peppy bunch of folks here to review videos today. All right, so this is the first time we're doing a stream like this. We were a couple minutes late because we were trying to figure out all the different dynamics of it. It's going to be fun. You're all guinea pigs, which is great. So again, thank you for submitting your videos to us. And we are going to be jumping in. We're just going to kind of bounce around, I think, for each person. So all of us have kind of picked videos from the form. We kind of broke the form up into, 4 different sections, and each of us chose videos from that section. So we combed through these. We looked at your responses, and I'll just start with mine to make it simple and kind of set the room for everybody. The first video we're going to look at is from a channel called 2 Feet Outdoors. They have 16,000 subscribers, and they have a breakout video with 420,000 views. Now, specifically, we're looking at breakout videos today. That's why I said share a breakout video with us. Something that it goes above and beyond. And so they're used to seeing views that range anywhere from 5,000 to 100,000.
Still pretty good for the channel of their size.
Yeah. 420,000 for a 16,000 subscriber channel is pretty crazy. So we're going to be looking at why this video blew up. We're just going to kind of watch it for a little bit and give our thoughts, maybe even share some improvements and look at the channel as a whole as well. But in their own words, they said it was an outdoor nature video kayaking in a very urban area of New York City with some challenges along the way. This video was the catalyst to become monetized after 3 months on YouTube. So congratulations.
Nice.
I still make nature / outdoor exploration videos in New York City. So that's kind of the channel focus we have there. And I'm just kind of play this for, the first little bit, maybe the first 30 seconds, and kind of get your thoughts as we go.
I mean, it's a good start when you have a hot dog in frame on second 0. I'm already in.
Nice little visual hook there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is great. I mean, urban kayaking, and we have the urban part, and then boom, I'm just getting lunch, but we're about to go kayaking.
Before the video starts, I'm interested in the phrase urban kayaking. Is this just finding places to kayak in an urban area, or is it, I don't want to say euphemism, but an unusual way of traveling around the city? Kayak on wheels? I don't know. It leads to many thoughts.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Jackass, where they would take a kayak, or maybe it was a canoe, and they would go downstairs and stuff in the city. Yeah, they do all sorts of crazy things. So I actually don't know what it is either. I assumed that's what it was, but I guess we'll see.
If they didn't put 8 miles on the Bronx River in New York City, I would have assumed something like Jackass.
Fair point. Yeah.
This is Matt with 2 Feet Outdoors YouTube channel, and I am in the Bronx, New York. I'm currently at Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs, but today we are going on an urban adventure. We're paddling an 8-mile section of the Bronx River. All these bridges we're going under are really incredible. This is all trash. I'm up on top of the fence.
Oh, jeopardy, danger.
All right, I got to show you guys something. I'm at Shoelace Park in the Bronx, New York City. And I'm at the kayak launch for the Bronx River. And before I can even launch, I have to
I'll stop it soon.
Clean up all these city scooters that are literally dumped in the water.
Yeah, he's gonna pull out these scooters, and then we'll talk about it. I didn't realize this was in the first minute, but I saw this and just kind of laughed, like, what?
Yeah. So I got my shoes off. socks off, and I'm gonna just try to pull all these out.
What is it with the mistreatment of EV scooters in cities in North America?
Yeah. Like when you think about the title again, urban kayaking, it suddenly becomes clear why that's so relevant when you when you see the scooters dumped in the river.
Mm-hmm.
What are our first reactions to this? So we've watched a minute of the video now. This video has 420,000 views, huge outlier for the channel. I guess we just go down the row here. We'll start with Rob.
So what I liked was that it just kind of threw us in. They were literally on it. It was like, I'm going to start this video, press record, and I'm going to tell you what's happening. Cool. I like that. There was a little bit of a reference to some famous landmark in New York, which is Nathan's hot dog location. I found that interesting. And then there were some cuts, some really, I would say, slow cuts, like long fade to black transitions, and then fade from black to the scene. I think they could be done a little more efficiently, but I like that they're teasing what's going to come later on, and especially the bit where there was all of this trash, and this bit where they were having to, I guess, I don't know, trespass, or like their typical access wasn't available, so they had to climb over a gate. That led to some like interesting. I'm gonna find out more about this later on. And then we get to I guess this is the actual intro of the video, and it kind of slows down again. But as you say, Dan, it brings a relevance of the urban kayaking versus the unique challenges of having to clear out EV scooters. So, some things that could have been changed there, but like I haven't, until I saw this title, I didn't know what urban kayaking was. But I'm already kind of intrigued and engaged, and we'll probably watch, another few minutes of this, even though it's like a 50-minute vlog. I didn't realize how long it was.
Yeah. What about you, Travis?
Listen, every video has viewers for it. It is interesting that this one, has done so well, because I think if you just look at the video itself, it's just, there's not like a whole bunch of amazing edits, or there's not like super excitement or anything like that. So you might go, well, I don't understand. I have videos that are better than this. But I think time has a lot to do with it too. We don't know how long it took to get these views. Did it happen right off the bat, or did it happen over time? Does it have something to do with New York? Did something happen in New York in the news where then all of a sudden this got suggested to a bunch of people? So there's a lot of things that could have happened to make this kind of a more successful video for this channel. The title and topic itself is interesting, because I'd never even heard of urban kayaking. So maybe that's also part of it. It's interesting to see. I don't know how often they do this. Maybe it's a thing that they do a lot of, and stuff like this. When you see something like this, that is interesting.
That's a full-blown bike, not just a scooter. Goodness.
Yeah. So that sort of stuff's interesting. It would have been perhaps better with a secondary camera angle as he pulls it out, but maybe he's doing it by himself. There's two. Okay. Yeah, I mean, definitely what's going on there? That's wild.
Does he get like a return to sender bonus for retrieving all of these?
I legitimately would have started the entire video off of this.
Yeah, this
is
so
wild.
Yeah, when he said I gotta pull these scooters out of the river, I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah.
And there's at least 3 scooters. It looks like he might be going for another one.
Oh my goodness. Is it first 15 minutes just yanking out scooters? Maybe he needs that would help him so much.
I'm kind of wondering if there's like anyone talking about the scooters in the comments. People just seem to overall like the video so far. Love your mindset. People talking about different spots that they could go.
There's a lot of timestamps in these comments, which means that people are watching deep into the video, which is encouraging as well from a watch time perspective.
It must have come up because they took the time to say, here's a recent article regarding the scooters and e-bikes in the river.
Yeah.
So this is like a thing. This must have been like a thing for people watching, like it is for us right now. John, what about you?
So originally I thought that the hot dog thing was a good start because it just throws you in the middle of a story, until I realized it had nothing to do with the story. And then I thought, okay, maybe he just did it as a visual hook. And then I saw the following footage, and I realized that the intro could have actually been stronger had he started on the fence cropped in. So like a close up, and then it cuts out to reveal how dangerous it is with just a little bit of like tense music or something. And then cutting to the trash, but his audio from the fence doesn't cut out. So it just kind of goes over while the kayak is in the trash, and maybe a couple other shots, and then it goes into where he's emptying the bikes. And like Travis said, if he had another camera, it would help, but he could also just crop it in first and then jump back to reveal the entire thing. And if that's like 20 seconds of an intro, and then he's just already into it. But there, he started with like his own intro. It's me from 2 Feet Outdoors, and you know, all this stuff. Honestly, had it just cut to that and shown like these interesting moments, I would have been in for the long haul after that. And you could always introduce yourself afterwards or whatever, even with a voiceover. But that's how I would have started it.
Yeah, I totally get that. I had similar feelings as well about how the video starts. It didn't seem to impact the performance, which is great. So it looks like at the most replayed segment, I was going to jump to this because I noticed a big spike here. It also happens to be when the camera kind of switches angles too. Let's kind of jump ahead and watch a little bit more before we move on.
Maybe it's because he sat there and kept moving the bikes for like a full minute, and people were like, "Okay, let's get to the next part."
Yeah, I have a thought on that I want to share with you. Just let's watch this next bit.
Yeah, there's another bike too. A fourth bike did make it in at some point.
Oh my!
And we'll get going. We'll go ahead and get this kayak set up.
I do think this would be a good moment to kind of speed things up, like with literally like a time lapse of you setting up the kayak.
That's the point I was going to cover, along with the hook. You know, we had the transitions to black and fishing out all of these scooters. I feel as if doing some really hard cuts on these could really trim down those moments. And so I'm going to guess that the entire video is probably of a similar relaxed editing style. Almost wondering, like, would there be an opportunity to kind of re-edit this entire thing into like a 10-15 minute video and change the discourse around it? And it could be something along the lines of why kayaking in New York is so dangerous, and like focus on the trash and the scooters that are in a river and stuff. I feel as if there's an opportunity to remake this as an entirely new story, just to kind of experiment with new editing styles. But you know, again, this is 10 months old, so we don't know how the creators developed since then.
Yeah, and it feels like everybody in our comments is like really into another camera angle too. We were thinking of it, like other viewers were pulling up on the screen or thinking of it. That was an interesting thought as well. Like if you had a camera strapped to you, so we could get kind of a first-person POV of you setting up the kayak, just something to cut to. It would really break up these more, I'll just not to be mean, but I would say monotonous kind of shots of like, you know, we're just sitting here, you're just kind of breathing heavy as you're lifting all these heavy things. And like I would love to have like maybe put some music at this part, time lapse, sped it up a little bit, and yeah, you have two different things to cut to. But that's us kind of like giving you advice for your future videos. This is an older video, maybe you've started to do that by now, but this is fantastic for, I mean, your subscriber size and you know, just I don't know. Overall, I just think it's a fantastic video that demonstrates a lot of room for improvement while also still being awesome.
One thing I would just like to check at the end, Dan, is I think they said that this video was the one that got them monetized. Given that it's probably got some evergreenness to it, can you just check in the description and if they've added any like affiliate links or further money-making opportunities?
Like some music. And that's about it.
So they do some musical stuff further on, but like I'm wondering if we could put affiliate links for the kayak I use and that type of thing. And given that this is an evergreen video.
What is that for products thing next to the date? Isn't that like a
scroll down. Oh, I guess is it those?
I don't see anything.
Yeah.
Is it all of those license codes for the music?
It could be my ad blocker blocking them.
Dan.
I mean, I don't use that. It's built into the browser. What do you want me to do? Okay, so we'll assume they are making something off of the products because this is a lot of views. This has to have kicked back a little bit for you, which is awesome. I want to thank 2 Feet Outdoors for sharing their video with us and kicking off the stream. This is what the rest of the channel looks like if you were interested. And they still, like they said, their view counts are still kind of remaining steady as they told us. They get 10K a lot of times.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Those counts. It's either subscriber size or beyond. So
yeah. So really, really strong performing videos here. And it looks like kayaking is something that works really well. Exploring the decaying remnants of Scooter's Island. Like they're like exploration / outdoor videos. It's kind of taking that the people who like abandoned videos, but then also people who like outdoor videos and marrying them into one channel, and it works really well.
I recognize the thumbnails. I know for sure I've seen him in the thumbnail live streams.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Is that why there's lots of arrows on some of the thumbnails, John? Oops. Press two sound effects. Sorry. That was a double drum roll.
Great banner, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Yikes, that's cold.
We will jump then. That was my first pick. We will jump to John next. And John, we're going to be taking a look at this video here, why vinyl planks are out and laminate is back. And tell us about what drew you to the video and the forum post and everything.
Okay, so the selections that I picked, because I picked more. A lot of them weren't quite from the clips themselves, but something that stuck out to me. I was kind of questioning why specific videos stuck out more than others. This one is just it's just a case of like it's a really solid channel, and we can go ahead and take a look. But I think that this one stuck out more than the others, and I almost don't know why. I think it has to be because of topic. Like the vinyl planks are out and laminate is back, and it says like why, right, on the thumbnail. I'm assuming that for this audience, that's like really interesting. And the other stuff, it doesn't stick out as much, I guess. So I don't really have a good answer for this. Maybe you guys can help me out, but I'm thinking topic because of all the videos are kind of cut similarly and they're done really well. We can take a look at the intro if you'd like. This he's good.
Thumbnail is exceptional, I would like to add. Like there's a contrast, there's that bright yellow Viz vest on one side, which is an interesting contrast to the whites and the silver on the left-hand side. And just that use of focus is incredible to me. It's really intriguing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm assuming he did that in Photoshop because I can kind of tell towards the middle. And I mean, that is just like perfect. The composition is incredible because you got top left covered with text and then like a middle angle and then bottom right covered with body. Just everything. There's room for everything.
Did you know that vinyl plank floor sales are on the decline while laminate flooring is coming back? Huge surge in sales. Which one of these two floors is vinyl and which one is laminate? Can you tell the difference? Both floors offer amazing appearance.
Nice visual pattern interrupts there.
Incredible.
And finish quality, but let's talk about the differences and show you why laminate flooring is coming back in popularity. Laminate flooring changed the DIY flooring home industry for good. All of a sudden, you did not have to hire a flooring professional to come into your house. You could snap the planks together and do it yourself. It was an amazing thing. However, laminate had problems. It was not moisture or water resistant at all.
Okay, I think we can pause it now. I think it's like kind of obvious why this one, why it just sticks out. Even I would assume this would hurt like the audience, I guess, because like if I was doing construction or whatever and he was informing me, would I want all of this? I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
I'm learning something for sure. I've actually, in my very minimal time even thinking about this stuff, I've always wondered even what the difference is because I know they're both like planks, and I feel like he's getting into a lot of details and stuff. And if you are a new homeowner or you're about to do a renovation, I have to imagine this is important information for you because he's getting into moisture and stuff, which is going to be crucial for any home projects. Like, are you getting things that will withstand some kind of disaster in your home, right? So I'm actually really intrigued by this video, and I think they hit the nail on the head. 4 minutes long, and they're getting a lot of information. We're not even at 1 minute yet, and I feel like they've shared a lot of information.
What do you think, Rob?
I think the power of this video, like from the thumbnail onwards, is show as much as you tell, or show more if possible. And I was just bought in from the visual hooks at the very beginning. It almost feels like it's a combination of like maybe a really talented video creator who's paired up with this really exceptionally knowledgeable person about the industry, and they're combining forces to create this really interesting video. I might be wrong. It might be with this this guy just knows everything, and he's got his son filming him or daughter. But it feels like there's a marriage of skills here, and it's creating, let's use a corporate word, YouTube synergy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I could see that happening. I've been in that situation. Travis, what do you think?
I mean, everything you guys said, I 100% agree with. I think I've actually seen home rapid repair around our community, so in some ways, I'm not completely surprised at the kind of excellent video. I mean, you think about this. We're talking about laminate. Generally speaking, not a video I would be super excited to watch, but in the way that he's presented this, starting from an odd angle at the very beginning to quickly getting into interesting facts about it, this is a watchable video, even if you're not like just really looking for this information. If you just happen to trip across, is one of the great things about YouTube, is it'll find things that you're interested in. And I would actually watch this. It was just wild because I have no interest and no need for anything like this, but I would literally watch this. Just well done. Storytelling is really important.
For sure. Dan, can you take a look at the channel real quick? I just want to point out this dude's packaging game is on point. They're so simple. I always tell people in the live stream chat, if you could have an image explain the entire story without text, it's a really good thumbnail. And some of them he does, but I mean, if he adds text, it's always like 2 words. It's so YouTube. It's perfect. I don't know, man. This guy, he knows what he's doing.
So why did this video blow up the way it did? And we have videos that are a lot more recent that aren't even reaching 1,000 views yet. Are these videos just ones that kind of need to simmer for a bit? Or did they just happen to like hit a very important topic in this space?
Do you want to talk about most popular, Dan? Is there superpower vinyl?
I was going to say maybe vinyl siding, but they don't say vinyl siding.
Not necessarily. Yeah.
That siding one, if I was trying to fix siding cracks, I would look for like a tutorial or an instructional video, but he puts novelty in it. You know, surprising method to fix siding cracks fast. Like, does that feel like an oversell? Because it's working, and I'm kind of surprised it's working, because I'm like, I don't want any of this other crap. I want to learn how to do this when I'm trying to fix something. But like it surprises me that this, I don't know. And like the thing is, he backs it up with his video though. Like the video is just, it's so good that you almost expect an overly YouTube person, but then you get into it and you're like, okay, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
We got a professional.
Can you imagine if you had a video that was titled "Surprising Methods to Unblock Your Toilet"? Like, that's not really what I need right now.
But I bet you when you need it, you're going to watch the heck out of that video, aren't you?
That's for folks who are expecting a toilet disaster soon, not people who are actively fighting one.
That's going to happen after lunch. Can you scroll down for a little bit? I want to see something. I actually see something. Okay, see that easy LED light fixture for every homeowner? This is wild. That's literally what I did. I literally had that exact light, and then I changed it to that literal exact one in like 3 different rooms. Wild.
I like that better. Yeah.
I got it's great. There's go sound.
I think just going back to the point of the channel, Dan, if you again sort about latest, I think what this channel is struggling with is maybe the utilitarianism of the channel, whereby some videos do start to take off probably through search traffic, but they're not getting enough, maybe return viewers. I'm kind of guessing at this point, but given you have like 8,000 views, 4,000 views. Those are 2 videos in the last 3 weeks, but you also have videos with like 750 views. And, when they are 3 or 4 years into their journey, that's probably quite frustrating. Like, for every 20 videos I put out, one of these is going to be like a viral moment for me, but they're having to they're having to do a lot of grinding here to get through that. But we see the talent of the creator in the content. So I don't know, is there a new approach to packaging that could maybe see them have more like return viewers who don't necessarily need to get a patio heater, but they're just interested in how this person uses a patio heater in and around the house?
I think there's a big difference between two videos right here. So this one says best ways to unclog your dishwasher, which is going to be, again, like you're facing a problem and now you're on YouTube trying to fix it. And then there's testing the strangest uses of WD-40, which ones actually work. Now, myth busting different home products is a completely different type of video for the same kind of audience, I think. But that, to me, like, you could watch this anytime, but you're only going to watch this when you have a problem. And I think that's the difference. And I think he should be doing both.
Yep.
But that's, to me, that's the difference.
He is, yeah, he's doing both. And if you look at his consistency, I mean, 3 videos were put out 3 weeks ago, and then a month ago there was 5, 6 maybe. Like he puts out multiple per week, and I think that because he does both, he has the ability to do that.
You know, I don't know if he's doing this on purpose or accident. Someone just pointed this out, and I think it's an interesting observation, and maybe you should use it more in his thumbnail. But I just saw, let me see if I can find the comment. You'll notice in some of the thumbnails, he has like the security vest on, and some of them he doesn't. I feel like the security vest is like a brand thing.
Yeah.
He should totally wear that in every single one.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
And you could just visually, you'll remember the guy just by seeing that. This is a small thing that some people miss, but it's something that you remember in your mind when you find something like this. Like, oh yeah, that guy with the yellow vest on, that guy,
yellow viz guy.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a really cool small little marketing thing you can people just remember. They'll see you like, oh yeah, that's that guy. Yeah, that's that guy. So something easy, but cool.
Yeah.
I remember this guy on the thumbnail live streams now. There's one that says, which painter's tape should you avoid? And I remember the point I made. And it's the same point that if you scroll up, I'll make about the anchors. It's like the second video. Yeah. So you see that 100 pounds and then question pounds. If you search for drywall anchor strength test on YouTube, there are better looking videos. There's this one offers more to me, and I don't think that he can beat this one unless he changes the packaging. This one or like the third one, because it shows all the anchors. So it's like, am I going to click his or am I going to click one of these? I think it comes down to packaging. And so if you try out the masking tape, if you search for masking tape test or whatever, I know for a fact that there is a better looking thumbnail. And I that's what I pointed out to him in the this guy, he's pulling them off. It's like, I recognize that because I'm about to be doing that. Like, it's so easy to understand. And so I loved his thumbnail. It's just like, some of them he will have the best video of it, but some of them he's got a lot to compete with. So it really comes down to the packaging, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is going to be a very competitive space. So I think good tips, but also congrats on like a big breakout video for the channel.
For sure.
I would also, as well, just to finish off, maybe looking at some of these channels that have these videos at the top of the search rankings and just go through their catalog and see, like, so if we just look at tools that build, we just go to like videos, do they have a same problem, or are they getting tens of thousands of views? So they were getting tens of thousands of views, but now they've left the YouTube business, so to speak.
Yeah. Similar issue, but it's just a larger sample size.
Yeah.
Like 8,000, then 100,000, then 100,000, 300,000, then then 8,000. So
sure. Yeah,
it's happening still, but it's still like just a massive difference. Oh wow, wait a minute, I didn't realize this.
Yeah, that's Let's not investigate because it's not a hero channel. That's curious.
All right. Well, we'll come back to John and Travis. You're up next. We have your videos here. The first one we're looking at is Replay mod is finally in Bedrock. Here's how to use it. This is the form. Kick us off.
So the reason that I even looked at this channel is an unfortunate reality. I started playing Minecraft recently, and I'm embarrassed to say it.
That's supposed to be sad.
What was that?
It takes a really long time to queue up.
Like
that was not.
Is that better?
That's better.
All right.
Even that's better.
All right, we're going through our repertoire of bad sound effects now.
The thing is that, and I'm playing Bedrock Edition. And the thing is, I think it's what's interesting about this particular thing is I'm like, okay, I'll watch this because there are some things that I'm interested in trying to figure out about this game. And even though this wasn't exactly one of those things, I just pressed play to see what it was about, and right away it kind of got me hooked. So let's watch like the first 30 seconds or so.
The replay mod is finally in Bedrock. So if you ever want to do this, or even this, in Bedrock,
What was that?
by downloading ReplayCraft on MCPDL, you can turn your shit videos into not so shit videos. That sounded like a that.
Yeah. So 85 subscribers, something.
55.
Something. Oh, 55. Well, my eyes are bad. Something dark side something. I think the editing skills. Yeah, I know, right? I thought I was going
just 20 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. The editing skills here are obviously above someone who only has like 85 subscribers and it's their first ever channel. This almost feels like they've done other things before, and look at how many video views they've gotten in 12 days, and unsurprisingly so, because when you have something this high quality, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. Generally speaking, you're going to find views for it. And in a niche like Minecraft, it is hard to kind of break through, but this is good quality stuff right here. And man, I'll tell you, it's I think it's just well done. And cheers to this channel that really is putting in some hard work, because you see that, and as a viewer, you're like, oh, that's really cool, but you don't realize how much time and editing and forethought and everything it takes just for the 19 seconds we saw, just the 19 seconds we saw, to be able to break through at 100 subscribers. This person gets it, and I really appreciate that.
Dan has left the.
Sorry. I thought there was a cat thing happening.
He's back.
Tired of Minecraft.
No. Okay. I loved this intro. I'm not gonna. I'll play it without sound, but the amount, like you said, the amount of forethought and planning that goes into something. Look at like how many shots there are, and they're animated too. It's not like static, Minecraft gameplay shots. So this must have taken alone, gosh, almost
couple
an
of
hour
hours
to edit. Yeah.
Easy. Because then you also have to think, well, even if he had the script beforehand, he's got to get all the shots. He's got to time it right. He's got to figure out the music. He's got to edit it. He's probably went 6 or 7 times where it worked and then it didn't. It's not quite exactly the way I want it. And John knows this is probably better than any of us as like an editor. It's like, I know I have this vision in my head, and you start to throw things down. It's like, nah, it's not it. Dang, I got to change this thing and tweak that thing.
You know what's interesting though is that now we're into a video, the editing complexity has slowed down. So it's this idea of front loading your effort into the title, thumbnail, and hook, and then that kind of gives you a little bit of leeway to kind of just let the video breathe and not be as intense further in, because like we're always thinking about that hockey stick AVD at the beginning. We've got to try and straighten out that bend as quickly as possible. And I feel as if in the first 20 seconds they achieved that. And now it's more just like just screen sharing, giving us the actual value that was promised in the title.
I'm just going to point out they are on mobile, as far as I can tell. That's why there's little kind of buttons baked into the screen.
Was that all the entire time, or just this one video?
I don't know, but it feels like a good thing to point out if this is mobile, because you can play Bedrock on mobile.
Okay, don't say that, Dan. Because the problem is I don't want to have to be able to play when I'm away from my computer. I want to be able to be locked to my computer, because if I go in the kitchen to make some breakfast and I can still play Minecraft, this is a bad thing.
You can play it on your phone, on your Switch.
I don't need to know this, Dan.
Yep. I
don't need to know any of this.
So
log me into my same account and I get all the stuff that I'm doing right then.
If you're on a server, yeah, like if you can just log.
I'm on Realms.
Yeah, so you just log into the Realms.
This is terrible information.
Yeah.
Sorry, what are you two talking about?
The point I'm trying to make is that mobile is not slowing them down. You would think you need a computer to make videos like this, and I'm sure the edit would have probably happened on a computer, but they're primarily playing on mobile. And also for the audience's sake, this is really accessible now, because I'm watching this and I'm like, can I even get this on the mobile version of the game? And they're showing me how to like go through all this stuff. You play it in your fridge. Yeah.
Terrible.
Should we have a quick review of the channel as a whole then?
This is it?
So
4 videos.
4 videos. Pretty powerful thumbnails. I almost want to say this isn't the creator's first YouTube rodeo, but I could be wrong. This could be their first channel. It's pretty incredible.
The thing. Sometimes, so the thing is that we're in a time on YouTube where if you really spend a lot of time researching how YouTube works, and we've had this on the podcast, where we'll have people write us to the podcast and say, I'm going to start my channel like in 2 months, and they're just spending time learning how things work. So then their first video is a banger. Like it's happened. Whereas a lot of people just jump in. And by the way, both can work. It doesn't mean one's better than the other. It also just, you have to set your own expectations. Like, do I want my first video to have a lot of views? Well, then you probably should do some research. You could potentially get lucky if you throw something out there, but I like to stack the deck in my favor rather than just hope for the best. And it seems to me that if this is their first channel, that at the very least, they've either watched a whole bunch of YouTube about this and kind of know what they need to do, or they've researched a lot and spent the time to do it correctly. So
I completely agree. This is really strong for what is basically a brand new channel, whether or not they've been at it for longer than that behind the scenes. I think that this is a good kickoff video for a channel like this too. It's like I'm on YouTube. I'm playing Minecraft because it's fun again. You know, I don't know. This is cool. This is cool to see. I think this channel has legs. I think it's going to grow in relative to the Minecraft communities of today, because there's so many. I think it's going to grow pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it's got a little something about it.
Yeah.
Come on, Rob, jump in. The water's warm. You can play with us. I got a realm you can jump in.
I think I bought Minecraft for the Xbox 360 10 years ago. Built a house for about 3 hours, and I thought, nah.
It's so much better now. I have literal tracks between I have a mine cart that goes between my house and my friends. We just ride it.
I mean, I guess we should very quickly do a self-indulgent gaming corner while we're here. Dan, what are you watching? What are you playing?
Still World of Warcraft.
John, what are you playing?
Nothing.
We know what Travis is playing. Cult of the Lamb. I've completed the first round of missions. Now I've got to do them all again. Thank you for checking in. Let's move on.
Well, we're moving on to your pick next.
Yeah.
It is avoid my worst financial mistakes with midlife anti-crisis.
Yeah. So I think what's probably useful is just to go to the channel very quickly. Because I think what's really powerful about this channel is like the value prop in terms of the channel name, the midlife anti-crisis. And like midlife isn't a crisis, it's an adventure. And then let's just watch the first minute of a video. And like, I'm interested to know if you had the same feelings as me.
Okay.
If you can unmute it. There we go. All right.
Hello there. I'm just driving home from dropping off my friend at the airport. So I'm just going to talk to you while I'm driving. Just thought I'd talk to you about some of the money mistakes that I've made. I've been thinking about this for a bit. I have been talking about money quite a bit, and I just wanted to tell you about some of the mistakes that I've made over my lifetime. A lot of these are going to sound familiar because a lot of these are mistakes that most people make when they're young. And then I'm going to tell you a couple of stories about some personal money mistakes that I've made. So stick around. I'm going to put those towards the end. So first,
you want to stop there or keep going?
Just do like a brief, like another 10 seconds, just like the first mistake.
Credit cards right out of college. I think a lot of people fall into this trap. As soon as you graduate from college, you start getting credit card offers in the mail. And
all right, you can pause there.
Like a grown.
So, shall I go first, or do we canvass the crew here?
Whatever, you know.
All right. Well, I guess it's my video, right? So, there was a lot of subtle things that I think were really powerful in the beginning there, where, first of all, the kind of just the turn of a head from the windscreen to the camera at the very beginning was almost like, oh, you're the passenger in my car, and we're just gonna chat. And then, like over the next minute, you realize that this is one of these creators where they're not focusing on the edit or like a fancy camera, lighting, etc., etc. This is just me in my life, and I'm going to share with you something about my life. And we're seeing more of these creators who are almost having like an over 40s renaissance. It's kind of like on YouTube, where you've probably, I'm sure everybody has seen a video at some point in the last 6 months titled something along the lines of, I wish I'd started doing this before I was 40, or I'm 40 and I've learned this, those type of videos. And this is another one of these people who has this kind of sage advice. Another couple of really cool YouTube tricks that they use that they almost didn't realize were, she said, like, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've experienced. And so she's making it relatable to the audience. And then she also said, I'm also going to share at the end some of my personal experiences. So stick around for that. And it was done in just like a really quick, fun way. And then I was trying to decide, like, who is actually watching this content? Is it for like-minded 40, 50 something people who are also want to say, yeah, you're right about that, I completely agree, or a younger generation finding value in this? And hopefully, Dan, if you scroll down, fingers crossed, this is comment number 2. There it is. I'm 26 years old and I've learned so much because of this video. And I think, that is like a light bulb moment for that viewer. And I'm sure many others of the 50,000 found this really valuable. So this is one of these where, like, you don't have to be a fantastic natural creator. You don't need editing skills. You just need knowledge and communication skills, and you can create a fantastic channel.
I completely agree. I think there's a lot of relatability here for everybody, because I think if you are, a little bit older, you are reminiscing about the mistakes you made. If you're younger, you're like, oh, I'm going to lock in because actually I just got a credit card out of college. There's a lot here. I think my one critique would be, they kind of repeat themselves a little bit, like in the early part of the video. I think we could have gotten to this a little bit faster, but not too fast. I didn't mind the pacing too much, but it was, I think twice it was said, I'm going to tell you about my financial mistakes that I made when I was younger. Something,
Fair enough.
it was kind of, maybe it was just, I had just read the title and it was repeated, but it felt like it was repeated twice. But yeah, I don't have too much critique other than that. Like, for a car, like, the microphone's placed appropriately, the audio's good. Yeah, I'm pretty locked in. What about the rest of the panel here, John?
Okay, so Dan, I had the same thing. I took a few notes. I had the same thing. She did get a little redundant in the intro. Honestly, it was probably just like a section of like 8 seconds that she could just cut out, because she said the same thing just in a different way. The thing that Rob said about holding something until the end, like the retention technique, so stick around to the end, and I'll say that. I was curious if the personal stories, if that was a hook enough to keep people to the end, or if you could say something like, and if you happen to not be in your midlife, if you're younger, I've got a tip for you, but that's at the end. I got something special for you at the end. Like, that's the kind of thing that would keep people more, I would assume. That's what I would do, because, like, when people jump to your channel, they don't care who you are. They want to know the value that you're giving them. And so holding that back to the end, if they're new to the channel, they might not make it to the end, because, like, holding a personal story, that's something for your community instead. So yeah, which is, I mean, it did fine, 50,000 views. That's great. It's just like these little things I could improve on. But yeah, outside of that, your hair is amazing. I love your hair. And honestly, like, there's something called primal branding, which we had discussed earlier with the guy who wore the high visibility vest, the construction guy. And, like, when I feel like I would always recognize you, and just please never change your hair. Like, the cut, it's great, and the color, it's amazing. And I feel like I immediately recognize you from this. So yeah, it's beautiful. Outside of that, I got nothing else. Maybe the difference in generation is a potential video idea, maybe one day.
That is brand new YouTube advice I've never come across before. Don't change your hair.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Travis, what stood out to you?
I think it's pretty much been all said. She's I like the driving thing. I mean, I like it and don't like it. First of all, not exactly legal in most states. So
I wondered that. I do wonder that whenever I see these.
Probably shouldn't do that. I mean, if you're parked somewhere, you can get away with it. I understand what you're trying to get, what you're trying to show, and it's like you're in the day of life and you're with them in the car, which I think that's cool. I love all that, but make sure that you're not breaking the law making these videos. Other than that, I think it's great. I think you guys pretty much hit everything that I would say. Very relatable and a great subject.
I have a question for you all. How long do you think it took to make this video from start to finish, like including the editing, thumbnail, title?
How long was it? 13 minutes. This probably took. There was edits, but they were just cuts. We didn't watch the whole thing, obviously.
Cuts. Yeah.
So I think it would have been probably about 20 to 25 minutes of recording time.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if they spent more than 30 to 60 minutes editing. Based on the cuts I saw, but again, I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, we're talking maybe 2-3 hours tops.
Probably.
I think that again that just demonstrates that there's more than one way to create a really good value video, and this is an example of it. This person is probably just thinking like, oh, I'm so busy, my day is full of all of this, but I know that in this 60-minute drive home from taking this person to the airport, I can share this story and this life advice in the car. And then, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that, YouTube can be very demanding, but there are always ways to find an opportunity to make content. And this is a good example of it. Compared to like we were talking about the Minecraft video where we think they probably took 3-4 hours just to do that 20-second intro. You don't always have to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing we're not accounting for is how much prep went into the conversation itself. But given how off the cuff it is, I think this was something they were probably thinking about maybe yesterday. Like, oh, maybe tomorrow I'll have my camera with me and I'll do like some vlogging in the car after I drop my friend off at the airport. And they're just kind of like speaking from experience, so there's not much scripting or anything like that. So yeah, I imagine probably about a day or so of thought went into the topic. Like maybe I'm way off. I apologize if I am. And then like we talked about.
Yeah, this gift of natural conversational communication, just about stuff I'm really envious of people who do this, and this creator is one of us.
Yeah. So I did look at the channel real quick just to see. They are releasing the videos from members first, which is a cool strategy. These are not like timely videos or anything. It's pretty evergreen. Yeah. So I think you can do that. Interesting to see 2 back-to-back that are only for members. So I don't know. I don't know if there's like a best practice for this. I don't see this too often, but I would say that if it were me, I would only have one video at a time that was members first. But everyone's probably a little bit different. But yeah, I think
I have something to say about the thumbnails.
Oh, this one's only members.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's talk about the thumbnails.
Okay, the top there, there's a lot of these. You've cut yourself out. You've done a mask and you replace your background. Don't do that. The third one where you're in the car. This natural, authentic image where you just have you and then text that's the vibe, right? You put fire behind you or God forbid the Canva backgrounds. If you scroll down, you'll see a couple of those.
I've used them all, so no one else can use them.
Yeah, it's just so much better to just like the text. I mean, it almost looks like the text is organic social, like you're almost doing it on your phone or whatever, and that's totally cool. Just take a screen cap from your video and use the photo editor and put text on there. I think that's the way to do it. Like the worst financial decisions is perfect. The text. Maybe I would have moved a little closer to your face and made the text a little smaller, but like that's just me being nitpicky. The real backgrounds, like you're a real person, you're saying real things, make it real.
Dan, can you do a search for Solo and Silver? I think we did a case study on this channel. They're in the coaching program here at vidIQ. And this is a very similar type of creator, same generation, talking about similar things. And they are taking off. Look, we're almost at 100,000 subscribers. I think when we looked at their channel, like 3 or 4 months ago, they were at 10K. So this might be a creator to take some inspiration off in terms of topics, thumbnail design. Again, it doesn't need to be too complicated. But actually looking at that, there's still some improvement to be made there. Yeah. I think this is an area of YouTube where the thumbnail game is like 5 years behind everybody else. But, you know, 1 or 2 creators will figure out how to make really powerful thumbnails for this type of audience.
Dan, can you look at the popular one on that? I'm curious if they're silver and solo because they put it in the thumbnail, like as a branding choice, if that's in the most popular video. No. Okay. Nope. No. Okay. Silver and Solo, if you ever catch this video, please don't put your channel name in your thumbnail. Like, that's not how to brand on YouTube. Okay. Point made.
Are we okay with different font styles in every thumbnail in terms of trying to keep consistent and brand building? I'll say personally, I like a consistent font. I think when it changes, that should be like a signal that you're changing your style across the board. But at the end of the day, a lot of people aren't going to your video tab and looking at all of your videos. They're seeing them on YouTube. So sometimes a different font might make sense and it might not matter because they're on the home feed, not your video feed. So I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on it.
Don't let it stop you from experimenting in the beginning, at least. If you find something that really works, then that's a format that you got and you can double down on that.
There's got to be some intentionality with it. And usually when you see a channel with just random fonts, you can't understand why they're using different fonts other than experimentation for experimentation's sake. But then there might be like comedy, especially comedy channels, meme channels. They'll change a font on purpose. Might use some really abrasive font like Comic Sans on purpose to kind of catch out the viewer and grab attention.
Oh, go ahead.
Go home, Scale Train. Get out. Banned.
There are a few membership renewals and things. We'll hit these real quick, and then I think we shift gears a little bit because I just realized what time it was. So, real quick, we have WA Gaming for 19 months as a vidIQ member. Thank you so much. Saint Merc for 5 months as a member. Thank you. Black Angel Music became a member. Thank you so much. Koi-Fish Gaming is legal in the USA now with 21 months of being a member.
No, I think he's got his edges wrong there.
Yep. Top Notch King with a super chat. Thank you. And then 2 Feet Outdoors said, thank you for selecting my channel vidIQ. I appreciate the feedback. Absolutely. Thanks for submitting. So those were
how many of those EV scooters did you take home with you? I'm curious.
Yeah. Yeah, you return those?
Have you opened up a shop?
I love the channel name because that's usually as far out of the house I go.
Yeah. So I want to shift to there's something else about the stream we did that we thought would be kind of cool. Is not only do we pick videos from the forum itself, but we picked videos that just kind of also intrigued us in general to just kind of like talk about why we watched those videos, what we saw in them. And I'll just show the one that I picked that I saw the other day, basically, which was this video by Peebs. They have a couple channels, and I've never seen this creator before. This popped up in my feed probably because lately I've been looking at like archiving media and, you know, just trying to hold on to old media in general. I've been looking at like I think they're called like NAS systems and things like that, just for being able to store my DVD collection or video games or what have you, because I think media preservation is going to become more and more important as time goes on, right? Like streaming services take shows on and off all the time, and then you're like, wait, how do I watch The Office now? And so I think this is kind of cool. And so this video is let's see, about 18 minutes long, and it is mostly a story about that, like, you know, physical media making a comeback. It doesn't touch on the subject that I've been watching lately, but it did kind of like introduce me to new creators. So I figured we'd just watch a couple minutes of it, talk about, you know, things that kind of stuck out to me.
Lately, I've been seeing people talk more about physical media, and as someone who has loved physical media for his whole life and still uses physical media a lot to this day, if you've taken a look in my room, you may have noticed that, I figured I'd weigh in on it. Parts of this video may come off as a bit of a boomer rant. I mean, I don't just use physical games and physical Blu-rays and DVDs, I also occasionally use VHS! Well, sometimes anyway. Hey, if you have the proper TV, like an old CRT that's designed to play that kind of video, it actually looks pretty good. I mean, just look at this. This is a vibe, right? And just listen to this VHS come out of the thing.
Give it to me. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Touching on a lot of nostalgia. So yeah, it's games, it's movies, it's pretty much everything I've been kind of interested in. But this person, I just could tell right off the bat, just in it, they have multiple setups. Like you could just tell this is their whole thing. They're super
He has
into
surrendered
this.
his house to
Yes.
his YouTube channel, hasn't he? Basically,
Yeah,
This is awesome.
this is, you know, I guess for me it was a cautionary tale of like I don't want that many shelves of things in my house, but at the same time, I do respect someone that's not only like preserving old media, but then like preserving the hardware that you would actually watch it on to get like the most authentic experience to enjoy it. So yeah, I think what I liked about this was obviously this channel's been, you know, it's something that a lot of our audience would learn from in the sense that you're not probably here just yet. 300,000 subscribers, multiple camera angles, tons of thought going into comedic bits, and you know it's a lot. But I wanted to point it out as an example of just somebody exploring their passion and you know executing very very well. If you look at like the rest of the channel, it's not always about physical media. They're doing all kinds of stuff. I ate KFC every day for a week. Like we've seen challenge videos like this all over YouTube. Games I'm weirdly obsessed with. People actually eat this. So it's like different eating challenges, and then we're back to games. And you know, it's kind of a personality channel in general, but I think the reason it does well is because of just that passion. It's not, I want to do YouTube. What should I do YouTube about? It's these are all the things that I love, and I'm going to put them on my channel.
look at the consistency in branding and the thumbnails as well. It's always, almost always creator, center, objects left and right. This is an example where they are actually using different fonts, but they're mostly just fonts from the particular brands, aren't they? Which I guess is understandable. But yeah, the blue background as well just always anchors the presentation of a video. So that if you've seen one of their videos before and enjoyed it, it's almost like maybe you don't consciously take in exactly what the video is about. It's just, oh, I like this channel. I see a new thumbnail in the top left-hand corner of my home screen. I'm going to click and watch it.
Yeah, I thought the branding was really well done. We talked about that a little bit today. So yeah, this was just a channel that popped up, and I watched that video and I found it entertaining and also informative. I think there was if you keep watching, there's some good tips in there for just how they've kind of gone about preserving things and where they go to pick up new, well not new, but like old DVDs and movies and things like that as well. It's just basically the perfect video for my current home feed. Drew me in right away.
Yeah.
This dude is the perfect example of how to do busy thumbnails the right way. So you can still immediately understand, like that KFC one, there's a bunch of crap in the bottom left, but you understand the idea because there's KFC for 1 week right there. Like it is just so simple. And you recognize the kernel too. Yeah. I mean, that's a good question there. But everything I say on the thumbnail live streams, so it's for like it's per channel, you know, like it's not this overarching advice that is rigid.
So the topic of this channel is the guy, and it's the guy because this guy actually has other channels that are large. I think maybe at least one other channel that's large. So they got to know him on his other channel. And then he went from there. So the people who are really interested in him could go to a more personal channel. Now, after he's done that, those people are just him for him. He is the niche and not other channel. Like his first channel is gaming and stuff like that. This channel is him. So it doesn't matter what he's talking about because he is the niche. That's hard to do, by the way. It's not an easy thing to do. Some people can do it right off the bat, but you typically see it off larger channels spinning off secondary channels. And then you have to look at it from the perspective of, you know, some people say, well, all these videos are successful, but you might ask him and he might say the 90s and 2000s where he got 55,000 views. He might think that's a failure to him. We look at it and say, oh, that's great. That's fantastic. But he might consider that a failure. Everything is relative. All this, again, the thing we all would love to have is we become the niche because then we can do whatever we want. But that's just not common. It just doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
I would also argue as well in the sense that we kind of skirt around this concept of topic by using the word through line. And the through line here is nostalgic topics of a certain generation, which I think is people in their 30s and 40s. All of these videos kind of revolve around those topics. And I think that's the connective tissue in terms of jumping from topic to topic. And then, of course, as Travis said, well-established creator, they kind of have somewhat of a license to do this.
Yeah, I do think they've earned that license, but I don't think you earn it because first you stick to one little lane and you never move, and then one day you're allowed to do whatever you want. And I think that's a misconception. That's a misconception that I had, certainly. I think you earn this by taking risks and sharing more and more and more about yourself. As you know, this person obviously has a certain, just watching the silent video we just watched, like they have a certain sense of humor that resonates, like that, or transcends like audio in that sense. And I think this is them like learning over time that I can take risks and I can share more about my personality. And the more you do that, and the more you share just who you are, the more unique your videos are just inherently, and you kind of create your own domain in that sense. But it's hard, like Travis said, it's hard to do. But
Dan, let's go back. Let's go back to the main channel. I'm curious if we sort by oldest, like what were they doing to start off their channel? Now, unfortunately, usually these views are somewhat tainted by people going through their back catalog.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they had a mega niche to begin with, which was, well, no, hang on. Is that the name of a channel, or it used to be Peanut
Butter Gaming is this is the original channel. So
sorry, I apologize. Right, okay.
Okay, so you wanted to go to this channel.
So no, sorry. I want to know.
I think
what's their oldest channel?
His oldest channel is 15 years old. I think that's something
Peanut
you
Butter
really
Gaming
need
is
to pay
15
attention
years
to. Let's not ignore that.
So they were doing listicles to begin with, and then stuff about Dreamcast. But yeah, again, it's so hard to know if these videos picked up a lot of traction after the fact or whether they were popular immediately.
Yeah. It is difficult to know. I would say 13 years ago playing Minecraft, this is more or less somebody who was probably on the cutting edge as well, because I think this was so early in Minecraft's history.
God, yeah,
this is beta 1.2,
isn't it?
Yeah, they were playing Minecraft when Minecraft was like brand new. Now, do you have to be, have a channel that's 15 years old to have success on YouTube? No, you do not. I'm just, it's good to point out where this person started, but look how niche down they were, just literally games and covering weird hacks and things like that. And now they have a second channel that's thriving that's about all sorts of things. But it's not like someone said, okay, hey, by the way, Peebs, you finally got to a point where you can make videos about KFC. No, like they decided, I'm going to try something totally
Does
new.
YouTube send you an email?
Right. Yeah.
Hey, creator.
So that's
time for your KFC video.
That was my pick for just kind of out there channel that I saw recently that impressed me. I'll move on to John's now. John, I believe this was the one that you shared before the stream.
Oh yeah. The guitar where it says "this spins," the dude he put 1,000 guitar picks, and it sounds god awful, but the story that he tells throughout that video and how many cuts, how many obstacles he creates in the script, you could tell it was very well scripted before it was even this experiment that he did.
I made his triple.
Yeah, so he originally made like a triple guitar pick, and then he like tried a 5, and then 10, and then 100, and he takes you through the whole story right in the beginning, and then, man, I can't remember. There's just like so many random things that he does in this video, but it's a perfect example of how to take your niche and like really make it novel. And his niche was music and guitar and stuff, and then it was just like, got this like crazy idea. So yeah. You can go ahead and play the beginning of this because this intro is just amazing.
Oh, sorry.
I made his triple guitar pick and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. But then I couldn't stop. So I turned it into 6 picks, a 10 pick, a 20 pick, a 30 pick, and then 100, and then 1,000. And you want to know why? Mental health issues. But also, I wanted to know, what's the perfect amount? Let's start with 0 guitar picks. This would sound a lot better with 1 guitar pick. 1
Wow, but does that mean that combining 2 pics is even better? This will be interesting. It sounds crazy clean whenever you have to play 2 strings next to each other versus a regular pick. It's because instead of dragging the strings, you can pluck them at the exact same time.
I love this. I'll watch this whole video later.
Yeah, dude. It's been a while since I've been into guitar stuff, but yeah, I was locked in. And the thing that really stuck out to me is when he stood up and tripped over the guitar. Like it's scripted. You could tell that he planned this out because he wanted to land on the ground where all the other picks were. So he made a shot list for this whole thing. It's just, yeah, that's the kind of thing that a lot of people don't notice. They just enjoy. But like this stuff it takes a lot of work. Outside of the work it takes to make the stuff that he's making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about each one of these shots. As you're watching it, you don't think about the fact he had to put a camera down and then he had to get that angle and he had to fall down. Like, you don't think about it because you're just watching it and enjoying it. But as a creator, you have to think about these things. Now, does that mean your niche about how to sew a button on a jacket needs to have you falling down with all your sewing machines on the ground? Probably not.
Yes,
but
it does.
well, maybe. But I think the thing is, it just goes to show that overall storytelling, no matter what you're doing, is how you win and how you get progress forward. So even if you go, well, I can't do any of this on my channel with my content, you can tell a better story, no matter what it is. Even if it's a how-to, you can tell a better story. Or there's just always a way to do that.
Can we go back to the channel, Dan? I just want to check the frequency of videos. Yeah, so this is a good channel to answer the question, how frequently should I post on YouTube? And the answer is however frequently you want, if you're impossible to replicate. Because like no one else can come up with ideas like this in the way that this creator puts these videos together. And you can pretty much guarantee that the moment he publishes a video, the viewers say, oh yeah, it's that guy again. Oh, right, I'm going to watch this video. Absolutely. What I'm always fascinated by is if you go to oldest, like what was their first video like? Like, was it as trash as all of ours? Or did they have just this innate talent, or have they built it up over 13 years? And it looks like, just given the thumbnails and the fact that they were probably doing cover versions to begin with, they started off without much of a plan other than to do cover versions and then develop it into this incredible storytelling and using 3D printers to do 100, whatever it was, 600 picks guitar.
There's such a transformation here, and we see a lot of music channels who are like, what do I do? And I'm not saying the answer is to make a gun piano, but I think it is like, what do you have you ever had a creative nutty idea that you wanted to try? You know, this person went from being a music channel to being a straight up just entertainment channel, and they still stayed true to their main interest, which was music. What we assume is the main interest, but this is so cool.
They probably put like 10,000 hours into becoming a musician, and then put another 10,000 hours into becoming a really unique content creator.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to watch these videos today. They're great. So Travis, you're next. I have a video that you selected that was it was on the forum, but it was something.
Yeah, it was on the forum. I couldn't. Yeah, the thing that the video that most inspires me on YouTube is something we've talked about a lot. I don't know if I've talked about it here, but anyway, I found this on the forum. This creator has under 1,000 subscribers. They got 353,000 views in 2 weeks. When we start to play this, you're going to say this is kind of a a pedestrian type video. It's not like a lot of it's not like great storytelling. There's not like editing or anything like that. The audio is just okay. Like, how did this get so many views? It got so many views because of the topic. For gamers, this is a huge deal. What'll happen is a couple people will watch this and go, holy crap, there's this game on Steam that's literally a virus, and that will be shared and shared, and people are like, don't watch that. Here, the video this guy talks about, this is only a minute long. Yeah, this is a small YouTube creator. 2 weeks, he got 353,000 views on it. So I think it's super important to watch something like this. It's just super it's amazing.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Dirty Bones, and today
Dirty Bones.
I give you a warning. This game, Pirate FI, is a virus. It is not a legitimate game. It has a Trojan file in it that will invade your computer and try and get your personal information. If
Yeah, like you said, pretty run of the mill. I'm just gonna sit here on the Steam page and talk about this, but it's a great public service announcement, and I can see why it took off. It's only a minute long. Do they prove it in any way? Do they bring up any? I believe them, but like I wonder if this could have been taken up a notch by saying, "Look, my virus scanner picked this up," or I don't know, something.
Severlight said that the game was removed almost immediately after that.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sure.
great.
But I think it's a timely news thing. Quite frankly, this channel could have then pivoted to news, gaming news. Doesn't mean that that's what they would want to do. But this is also what I tell people when I say, when you upload a video, make sure that you would be happy making more and more of this type of video over and over and over again, because that's what your channel becomes. If you put a channel about something like this, you can blow your channel up by doing more of that. But it's not something you're interested in. It probably isn't a good idea to do it, because in a lot of ways, you're bringing a lot of people to your content that won't like it, which are bad signals to YouTube, which means the rest of your videos that you put out typically will have a lower CTR and generally speaking will not be promoted as much. Over time, that can change, because eventually YouTube might find the audience, but it's just not a great thing to do. So whenever you put out a video, always think, would I be okay with doing this type of video over and over and over again?
The Steam virus update got 23,000 views afterwards as well. So
see, there you go. So as soon as he did another virus one, you're good. But then look at the one right before it, 72 views,
less than 100 views each. So
and that's what I'm talking about.
Can you imagine how many people saw those two thumbnails and titles after watching the Pirate 5 fake game one and just decided not to click on it?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the proof. It's right here. This is how YouTube works. We talk about it a lot here on vidIQ and in the podcast, that if you make a specific video that takes off, videos similar to it, which is the Steam virus update, do well. They do, because they get promoted to the people who watched it. But everything else, if it's not related, you're back to what it was before, generally speaking.
I'm trying to think of a creative way to pivot that would still make sense for the Trojan virus on Steam. Now, you can't rely on Steam allowing viruses to be uploaded to their platform.
Yeah, I mean, you could upload your own viruses to Steam.
Right? Yeah, I guess so. I uploaded 20 virus games. Anyway, I do wonder if instead of just playing what seems to be games that you were just interested in, if you started to play games on Steam that had, for example, really low ratings or something. I've seen that before. That's not super novel, but it would kind of keep you in the realm of playing Steam games. And that's kind of what a lot of people now know you for, is like you were on Steam and you saw something once. So it's that. And then also I think you got pretty lucky with the thumbnail here, because this is the most relevant thing that you could have possibly put in the video, I think. You could have made this into a thing where your virus software picked up a virus and you have the game on the other side. You could have done a lot of production, but you didn't need to. But I think you really do need to do more with your thumbnails, just across the board. This just menu screen is so dark. This isn't anything. Like these aren't showcasing the games. These aren't like giving me enough. But if you would, again, like if you had made the video a little more intentional, like this game has a really crappy rating and I'm going to try it. And that's what the packaging resembled, that meaning the title and the thumbnail, and your hook is like, yeah, I saw this game. It was getting awful reviews, but I was really looking forward to it. So we're going to try it anyway and see what our first thoughts are. That would, to me, that'd be a bridge at least between these two videos.
Look at the demand on the viewer as well. We've got 1 minute updates on viruses. And then, hey, do you want to watch my 90-minute live stream effectively afterwards? Again, that's just like, I guess, what intent are you setting for the viewer or when you present something to them? Do you think there are channels that just focus solely on, I guess, how would you call this? Software store mishaps? Like, because not only Steam, but like stuff that wasn't there an app in the Apple Store once that just completely crashed your iPhone as well? I can't remember, but I'm wondering if there is enough of an idea there for a channel that just focuses on weird things that are happening in apps. Like another thing they probably could have covered, which might have been semi-relatable, is have you heard that Kindle are going to stop? Sorry, Amazon are going to stop Kindle users from downloading their books.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
There's a bit of a crossover conversation that may have been a good follow-up to this. If you were thinking of how could I expand on this idea.
You only have a few more days to download your Kindle books.
That's interesting. I did not hear that. So I actually used to work at Amazon. That's not something that I've really said, I think, here on this platform before, at their corporate office. And one of the things that was a bone of contention was Kindle books. And when someone would get, and this can happen, some people don't know this, you can get kicked off of Amazon as a buyer. One of the things that they would always be frustrated about is like, hey, I bought a bunch of Kindle books. I want access to my Kindle books. So they would give them access to the books. So this is, I didn't see this news. I have to read about this. Very interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos teaching you how to like download your Kindle library right now, and definitely something to do if you've collected a library of books and you would rather not have them taken away at random one day. This is again why I've been like getting into media preservation topics, because it's just happening more and more.
Every one of us videos, Dan, seems to be so like you download the book from Kindle and then you strip the DRM, and I'm like, whoa.
Hey,
it's supposed to be yours. I don't know. I'm
so
not
what
a
happened to move a
lawyer.
country from one country to another, and you bought movies off Amazon, you can just kiss them goodbye because the licensing doesn't work in a different country. So it's sort of the same. I did see the Kindle thing on Louis Rossman. He's a great channel if you want to catch up on companies that are doing really crappy stuff, which is a niche that is unlimited in this day and age. But yeah, what was it? Something RPG. Sorry, they lit RPG Adventures. They said Steam Detective would be a solid niche for that guy, and I'm like, yeah,
I like that. I like that.
That is cool.
Steam Detective or Game Detective.
I often see, especially on Reddit, where there's like always a huge backlash against games on Steam, and they use a review system to just what would be the right phrase here?
Dump bad reviews on them.
Sure, let's go with that. Yeah.
Brigade.
What was it? Helldivers, I think, was one example whereby what was happening there, Dan? Something
They
along the lines of-
required PlayStation accounts, which was
That
always
was it.
going to happen, but it still caught people off guard. And, you know, eventually Sony had to back down, but it wasn't looking like they were going to. And it took, brigading of the reviews to finally like get a response.
Yeah.
So Rob, you
Yes,
picked a video.
I picked this one. Oh, look, what a provocative thumbnail this is. Right, so this is one of my guilty pleasure channels, which proves the point that there is an audience for literally anything on YouTube. And this channel, called Auto Shenanigans, basically does interesting stories about the road network in the UK, which sounds so dull that you would think, why would anybody want to watch this type of stuff, right? But obviously, yeah, there is quite a provocative thumbnail here, and they're talking about a new bridge failure. Thankfully, I don't think there's any cursing in the first minute, so let's just play this video, and I'll try and introduce you to the world of motorways in the UK.
Yeah, these didn't get these words in my head at all, so thankfully there's no cursing in the video.
This bridge is sinking. You see, to be fair, it's much more noticeable when you're driving along the eastbound carriageway. There's a massive dip in the road surface, and that's because this bridge is falling apart. I suppose I'm making this video just to document things before either the Highways Agency or local council or whatever resolve the problem, or before the bridge falls down completely. And the funny thing is that we're not looking at some 1960s crumbling concrete structure as you might expect. This bridge opened in 2019. It's barely over 5 years old. The bridge was part of a £1.5 billion road building project that saw a new A14 constructed running from Cambridge to Brampton. Running through there is the A1.
All right, so I know you've all fallen asleep at this point. You can pause it there. But
what is that? If that bridge is 5 years old, was it made with Play-Doh? What is happening?
Okay, so at least you're intrigued here, Travis.
I'm intrigued.
Like, what is going on with a bridge that's cost tens of millions of pounds and is already falling apart? And so it's kind of this, I guess, amateur journalism that we see a lot of on YouTube. And this person has gone to the business of actually driving to this location, capturing all of this footage. You could see this on a news report at 6 o'clock, but it has that unique approach that a YouTuber brings to it. And again, I know this isn't for everybody, but it is fascinating to me It's a place with like high barriers to entry because you don't know of many people who have this level of interest in this content and are willing to go out and do all of the research and film it all and et cetera, et cetera. So they have 150,000 subscribers and they have nearly 1 million views on this. And I would imagine there's probably another handful of creators on YouTube who are doing this right now. But there's a lot of people, nerdy people like me, who are kind of geekily interested in this stuff.
There's a big sense of injustice from this, and I'm emotionally invested into it, and I don't even live there. But if it happened near me, I can imagine it happening to me. And so like I'm just generally interested anyway because I'm pissed. Like this is BS, you know.
I mean,
yeah.
If you're in the United States, especially certain states, you are probably used to seeing crumbling infrastructure, and so it is. I'm not. You're like, oh, you're probably falling asleep right now. I'm like, no, I'm actually really intrigued. You know, there's, the video is not going to say, oh, by the way, the bridge fell down, but you're kind of wondering to yourself, like, this bridge could actually fall down. I wonder if it will. Like, I wonder if they're going to address this now because of this YouTuber. Like, this is one of those videos where you want to follow the story outside of the video after it's done. Like, does this video get the attention of public officials, and do they do something? And I think this is very powerful.
I think the one thing that actually probably helps it as well, I mean, again, a lot of views, is that it doesn't appear that he's going to waste your time on the subject. It's only a 5-minute video, which feels appropriate. Yeah. If I was like, oh, this is really interesting, and I noticed it was a 20-minute video, 100% sure, no matter how good his storytelling was, I'm going to balance out at some point. I'm actually more likely to watch this entire thing because first part's really good. I'm sure he's going to take me on a ride, and it's only 5 minutes. So I can go, I'll watch this. No big deal. 5 minutes. So I think that worked with him, or worked for him.
Yeah. So question, even with the asterisks, is YouTube smart enough to recognize the text as profanity, and will that mess with things?
I can answer this.
I think
there's a two-part question.
Prove
yeah.
It's
That's how you answer the second part. The first part is yes, it can. But the second part is there's your answer.
I think the general rule is that you shouldn't drop the F-bomb in the first 7 seconds. I know it's a very specific amount, but that is, I think, in the literature in YouTube support. I'm trying to remember where this is, but they have like a really big breakdown of a lot of the profanities and curse words and whether they do trigger ad limitation. But you just have to search on YouTube support pages to find out exactly what it is.
I think it's in the upload part where it asks you, does it have any of these profanities or whatever? And then I think there's a read more section.
Right, okay. Yeah, so after 70 seconds, just do that.
That's hilarious. Let me do that.
You kind of like this. I won't finish that.
I don't think my censor button is working anymore, so I can't do it either.
I will say that we don't have access to this channel's stats, so this could be ad limited for all we know, and
potentially
what it is. I think it's worth it for that thumbnail, honestly. You know what? If it's going to be ad limited, that means more people can access it without watching ads, so that's good too.
Ayo.
So we are nearing when we would typically end the stream. I tried to keep this so we each had 2 videos and then a video that we picked outside of the form, but we each got to 1 video and a video we picked outside the form. This is kind of a new format for us. Do you just want to answer some questions? Because I feel like if we dive into another video, it's going to bring us over time.
Sure. Throw any questions that we have.
I'm curious too. Was this a stream that you enjoyed? Was this a format that you would come back for? Did you learn anything? It's a little bit different because we're looking at some channels from our community and we're looking for some channels outside of our community. And ultimately what we want to do is just observe things from our perspective, and hopefully everybody learns something. I feel like I've learned things. I always learn things on these streams. So yeah, I'm just curious if this is something. I noticed some comments of people hoping there was a form that they could submit on, but that happened last week. So I understand that's frustration, but yeah, if you have any questions, throw them in and let us know also what you've thought of this very different stream. I am seeing people saying, enjoy it, different, cool to try.
Thanks, Calvin.
More. How to get reviewed. Next week, we'll have a channel audit stream, and you'll be able to submit on the form at any point once the stream gets scheduled. Throughout the entire stream, you can submit, and you might be picked at random.
Yeah, so regular service next week. I guess we should stress.
Do it again. I might get a view. Yeah, any questions? One thing I would change, I didn't see all the form on the community tab. Could you put the form somewhere else? It's less likely to be buried. That's fair. I think next time if we do this, we could do like Blue Sky and like just all the socials and community tab. What I wanted to do was point this out in the last stream and say, hey, submit on this form, but we just didn't get to it. But that's fair.
What? That's not a question.
Well, it's not
a statement. It's a statement, but I liked it anyway.
I didn't read it first. I just saw his question.
That's not a question. You have your reviews today, isn't it?
Severance.
I'm just saying. She asked. He's like, "That's not a question," and then she goes, "Your reviews today, isn't it?" I'm just saying that show is fire.
How do I identify if a video did well? I thought my outlier was one of my worst videos, but people loved it.
Show it to someone else. Seriously,
that's a good approach. Yeah.
History with Carl. Like, I tried. You didn't select it.
I think another way to try and answer this, and I think it relates back to the Steam virus on Steam. A good video can't rescue a bad idea, but a really good idea can always rescue the quality of a video. So I think it always starts with that. Everything is influenced by your idea. And if you can think of if you come up with really good ideas, and I guess the idea in the sense of a Steam video was that it was to market before anybody else, presumably, about this virus on Steam. That was the idea behind it. And it's not a brilliant way to answer the question, history with Carl, but maybe it was just a really good idea. And as John said, you are but one viewer of your own content.
Sometimes I like to send my videos to people and ask them, where did you lose interest? Just like with thumbnails, I show people my thumbnails and I say, what do you think this video is about? It's just getting that outside perspective is huge.
We got a member for 8 months here with Dempsey Illustrations who said, I like this more in-depth stream. Thank you. Thank you for being a member. And
I'm the moderator.
Talk. Oh, yes. Talk Bunch says, should logos not be in thumbnails either? So we mentioned channel names not in thumbnails. I'm going to say it's a matter of preference, but like, I don't like logos in thumbnails personally. John?
No, never. Stop. Go on your YouTube homepage and see how many logos you see. Seriously. That should answer the question. Never do it.
Isn't
never.
Yes Theory one of the channels that books that general advice?
Like, I know
have
this
them
is
take
Colin
it off
and
and see how
Samir.
much it affects it.
I know.
I know this is Colin and Samir without even reading the title because they kind of have this branding, right? That's kind of what you want. You know, you don't want to have to rely on a logo.
But see, Colin and Samir, they didn't automatically know that was their branding. It takes a lot of creating, and then you find a format that works, and then you can double down on it. So you do have to experiment, like what we said with the text or the font or whatever. But eventually something will work, and then your branding kind of gets decided for you sometimes. As long as you're happy with it.
You've put them to work.
I think it depends. Like I use logos in the bottom corner of my videos all the time, but I didn't think it was the thing that made people click. Quite frankly, I didn't actually need them because my face was in the thumbnail. I think if you don't have a thumbnail style that makes sense, you want to make sure people know it's your type of video, that actually a logo could help, especially as a smaller creator. At some point, to be honest, just good thumbnails win, and you don't even need anything on it other than a good thumbnail if you're good at that. If you're not good at that and you're just really worried that people aren't going to know it's your video, you could put it on there, but I think that should spark some inflection or some reflection about your content.
I'm going to speak on John's behalf here and say, Talk Punch, come back tomorrow at whatever time the live stream goes live, and John will audit your logo-less thumbnails. Maybe. Possibly.
Do it. I'll see you there. Yeah, I just kind of always tell people, because I see it a lot, and it's a mistake that I made too, because I thought it would have people recognize that these are my videos. But the thing is, people don't care about your logo, and if you make it big enough, it starts to hurt your packaging because it takes up space of your thumbnail. Valuable real estate that can be used for something they actually recognize or care about. Yeah, I go on rants during these streams when I see it. So yeah.
I want to tackle this next one real quick. Why does YouTube reward / force you to niche down? I would say that YouTube doesn't force you to do anything necessarily. I would take the blame away from YouTube, separate those two things. Think about yourself as a viewer on YouTube. I'm sure everybody here probably watches some amount of YouTube. It's mostly just about why you watch certain channels and when you watch certain channels. You know, Colin and Samir talk to big YouTubers all the time about their stories and why they are who they are today. But if they randomly started playing Minecraft, how many of their regular viewers would watch? It's just not what they're known for. They could probably play Minecraft enough and have a whole separate channel for it where maybe they build up a whole separate audience. But it's really about the audience you build and the expectations of the real people who are watching your channel. It's not YouTube going, up, you broke your rule. You're not supposed to do Minecraft videos. You're Colin and Samir. That's not how it works. It's not YouTube forcing you to do anything. It's really you deciding, what do I want to be known for? And niching down helps because you can try to be the person for everybody, but how many YouTubers like that do you watch? You know, there's probably a few that you feel like they can do anything, but if you pay attention, there probably is a through line, something that connects all their videos, and you know them for a certain style of making content.
That's a good answer, Dan.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Can't beat that.
And then thank you for becoming a member, Sonaris Gaming Zone. That's my best guess.
There goes Travis.
Yep.
I'm protesting that we're way over, and I have a call in like 40 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll call it here then. Thank you.
All right then. I'll just remove him. Done.
Bye, Travis.
Well, the stream has devolved into
I'll
chaos.
bring him back. I'll bring him back.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. Everybody, pick your favorite style of waving goodbye to somebody and practice now because I'm going to hit end stream. And here we go. Here we go. Bye, everybody.